Why does this feel like a presentation?
Right, like a school presentation.
Don't understand. All right, hi guys, my name is Erin, and in this video I'm gonna be going over doing ADF during the month of Ramadan. Now, why would I want to do anything crazy like that? I don't know if many of you know, but Ramadan is where Muslims all over the world fast for 30 days straight from sunrise to sunset, and it's a dry fast, meaning they can't eat, drink anything, yes, including water during that time frame. And ADF stands for alternate day fasting. During alternate day fasting, or what alternate day fasting is, it's a type of intermittent fasting similar to the OMAD, which is 1 meal a day, along with the 16/18, where you fast for 16 hours and then eat during the 8 hours. So it just falls under the same category. So what is ADF? ADF is basically where you eat for one day and then fast for the second day. And during your fasting days, you can actually consume water, black coffee with no sugar or milk, or you can have any teas that have no calories. Basically anything that would kick you off your fasting. So to give you an example, pretend today is Monday and it's your eating day. Eat whatever you want. Some people do like restricting their time, so they'll eat up until 7 p.m. or whatever you want. And another thing that falls into your eating days is two factors, your TDEE and your BMR. Now, what is TDEE? And BMR? They both basically mean the amount of calories you can consume during your eating days. You can find these two numbers on this website called a TDEE calculator, I believe. I will definitely link it below. Now, I do also want to mention Rachel Sharp here on YouTube actually motivated me to get on this diet, and I'll explain a little bit more later, hopefully. What TDEE stands for is your total daily energy expenditure, meaning all the calories that you burn doing your daily activities, whether it be cooking, cleaning, sitting, watching TV, the amount of calories that you burn doing your day-to-day activities is your TDEE. Now, what BMR is your basic metabolic rate, meaning the calories your body burns during your resting stage. So whether it be sleeping. Now, during your eating days, you can eat up until your TDEE, or you can eat up until your BMR. Either of those numbers work. Ideally, mine right now falls between 1,500 to 1,700 calories. And Rachel Sharp here on YouTube mentioned that when she first started this diet, the ADF diet, she took the average of both those two numbers and ate up to that specific number, whatever that might have been. So during your eating days, if you want to lose weight, that's what you want to eat up until. If you're not doing it for losing weight purposes and you want to do it for the other reasons that I'll go over in this video, you can do so. Back to explain more about ADF. Pretend today's Monday, you're eating all day today, and then let's say tomorrow's Tuesday, that'll be your fasting day. So whatever time you decide to stop eating Monday, you stop eating at that time, go to sleep, wake up the next morning Tuesday, you don't eat anything at all. You can have your water if you want, your tea, your black coffee, which was hard for me to personally get used to, but I'm used to it now. Plus, I feel like black coffee gives me more energy anyway. Along with, you can also have apple cider vinegar mixed with Himalayan salt, and that's mainly, or you should consume that during your fasting days for electrolytes, because when your body hasn't eaten in so long, in such a prolonged time, you'll feel lightheaded, you'll feel weak, and drinking that will get you right back up to speed. And that's what you can have during your fasting days. So Tuesday, you can consume any of those, go to sleep, and then wake up the next morning, aka Wednesday, and you can start eating, which technically it's your eating day. So it's every other day, eating day, fasting day, eating day, fasting day. Now, I'm sure you guys may be wondering why in the world I decided to jump on this train, especially during the month of Ramadan. It has been hard. It's actually been very hard because I live with family. I live with my mom. I'm Asian, and I feel like Asian families definitely eat a lot of rice, unfortunately, and my parents do too. Back in Bangladesh, when I went to visit, breakfast, lunch, and dinner all contained rice. Not joking, not even exaggerating. You wake up in the morning, there's a pot of rice. You wake up or your lunch contains rice, that's all it is. Now to explain a little bit more of Ramadan. So you fast for 30 days and you break your fast at sunset, which is 8 p.m. now. And the traditions is basically at 8 p.m. the mom of the house or the women of the house cook a big meal, and you all sit down and you consume your food to break your fast. Now, it's very hard when you live with family because everyone around the house is eating and then you're fasting during your fasting days. It's very hard, especially if you have a Bengali mom. Till this day, I still get guilt tripped about doing this fast. She says things like, I can't believe you're starving yourself. Why would you do this? You know, you're just torturing yourself. You know, it makes me sad that my daughter's starving herself. She doesn't eat. It makes me, you know, I'm unhappy. And she still sets plates for me during iftar, knowing that I'm fasting, knowing that I won't eat, she still does it. So it's been hard, especially because during my eating days, if it wasn't during Ramadan, I would eat, you know, as soon as I wake up, which would be like 9 a.m., 10 a.m. But because it's Ramadan, I can't eat until 7 p.m. So my eating days, I'm eating much later than normal too. So that's also been hard. But I definitely do want to touch on the benefits of doing ADF. There's so many, and we're going to go over that right now. Number one that I first noticed that till this day means a lot to me because it just gets me happy, energized. So the number one, it's the mood enhancements that you feel during your fasting days. The only way that I can explain it is that you get a feeling of euphoria. You get your just clarity. The only other way I can explain it is, let's say you haven't drank coffee, if you are a coffee drinker, for 2 days, and then you have your first sip of coffee. That's exactly how you feel during your fasting days, along with a lot of focus. It's weird and ironic that you would feel any of this during your fasting days because you haven't consumed food, but you just have this moment of clarity, and you might not feel it the first day of fasting or the second day, but you will feel it soon. And you are very focused. You have high energy levels. For instance, during my fasting days, I clean like a maniac, and I don't know where that rush comes from, but I've cleaned the kitchen, I've cleaned the backyard, I've organized my drawers, I've organized my closet. I haven't touched the living room yet, and I really don't want to. But during your fasting days, you have high energy, you're super focused, you get a moment of clarity. The second benefit from doing this is going to be the health benefits. And this is probably the number one reason that a lot of people do the ADF diet, because there's so many health benefits to doing it, such as it lowers your sugar levels, it regulates it, I should say. Along with it regulates your blood pressure levels, your cholesterol levels, it regulates your insulin levels. So certain people who have diabetes within their family, like in my family, my mom does not have it, but her mother did, and so do my aunts. They suffer from diabetes, and knowing that's probably hereditary, something like that, you know, I want to make sure that I'm not, you know, overeating, over consuming any sugary foods. And the third benefit from the ADF is something called autophagy. Now, what is autophagy? Autophagy basically means it's a system or a mechanism in your body that kicks in after a 48-hour fast, where it starts breaking down your damaged cells and regenerates new ones. Now, what does that mean? That basically means that if you look into the name itself, auto means self, phagy means eating. So it self-eats. Now, this is gonna sound bad, but it's a way of your body eating itself in a sense, but it eats up all the bad damaged cells. Now, I've read that it helps with Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease. The cells that are in your body that are like that, it it gets rid of it, it destroys it, and then regenerates new ones. Now, the fact that a diet like this can do something like that without any medication, any drugs, and that's something that you can do by yourself, it's such a great benefit, and I wish it was more known out there. But autophagy only occurs after a 48-hour fast. After you have not had any food in your system or anything that break your fast, autophagy occurs. Now, another benefit to doing the ADF diet is losing weight along with your appetite being curbed, and you don't eat as much. You would think on your fasting days, I mean not on your fasting days, you would think on your eating days you would overconsume food because you haven't eaten all day the day before, but that's not what happens. I realized that when it is time for me to eat, I eat very little, and I watch what I eat. Ideally, I realized in the beginning stages, if I ate too fast, my stomach would start hurting because my stomach was full already before my mind realized it. So now I realize, eat slow, watch what I'm eating, paying attention to what I'm eating or what I'm putting in my body, because if I eat too much, my stomach starts hurting, I get a headache, and you lose weight. To give you a background, I would like to be 135. That's my ideal weight. That's my main reason for starting this. I have lost 15 pounds and I started ADF on April 1st. Now it's May 20th and we're almost through with this month. I just have 5 more pounds to lose to hit 20 pounds for 2 months. That's without any exercise at all. I have not worked out. I did work out in the beginning, but I realized it was just not gonna work out for me, especially with Ramadan in play. But I do take walks 3 to 4 miles a day here and there. But losing 20 pounds in almost 2 months with no workout is something that is good for me, and it plays well into my schedule for now. All right, anyways, let's get back. And I think that about covers all the pros in my perspective. It is my journey, and these are the things that have stood out to me the most. Now let's go over the cons, because there aren't that many, and the pros definitely outweigh the cons. And hopefully by the end of this video, you also feel or would like to dabble your hands into fasting in general. In the beginning, I started doing it with a 40-hour fast, which sounds crazy, but you're sleeping for some of the hours. But let's go over the cons before this video is 40 minutes long. First con, what I realized is getting cold during your fasting days. So imagine you haven't eaten all day, haven't consumed anything, and your body just gets so cold. Now, I'm a cold person normally, so even when it's, a little warm, I am the person that's freezing to death. My first day of fasting, I noticed this, and it didn't play into my head right away. I was like, wait a minute, why am I so cold? Asked my sister what's going on. Come to realize I haven't eaten all day and I just bundled up. Now, unfortunately, there's no way to not feel cold, but I've heard if you're feeling cold on your fasting days, that just means you're doing it right. So just bundle up, drink hot teas, whatever will get you through. And the other con about ADF is obviously hunger. You will be hungry. I have bad days. I have my worst hours are probably 8 p.m., 9 p.m., like closer to my bedtime, because I'll be in bed like, oh my God, I wish I could eat this. I wish I could eat that. Now, it's not because I'm hungry. It's more about like my brain just wanting food. Like, I don't mind the stomach cramps when I'm hungry, but it's just my mind just like fantasizing about food in general. That's like probably the worst. Another con about ADF is sleep. I noticed that my sleep was just all kinds of messed up. We're in quarantine right now, so I really don't have a sleeping schedule in place. So your sleeping schedule, unfortunately, does get hurt. Another thing I want to mention is headaches. This is something that you can fix later when you've experimented. In the beginning, I didn't know about the apple cider vinegar and the Himalayan salts until later. I researched more and I was looking more into it, but you do get headaches when you haven't eaten all day. Even on your eat days, before you eat, you get these headaches. And you just have to understand what your body's looking for. It doesn't want water, it doesn't want caffeine, or it doesn't want some electrolytes that you can just get from apple cider vinegar. But yeah, that about covers all the cons about doing this journey. Thought about doing keto as well. along with ADF, but I didn't want to put too much on my plate with Ramadan in play. Now, I do want to also mention, have I messed up? Have I eaten on my fasting days? Yes, yes, and yes, it happens. In the beginning, at least, even till now, like there's some days where I'm fasting and it'll be, I'll be almost through with my day, right? It'll be like 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. I get hungry and I crave, and it happens. It's gonna happen. I realize that you have to be your own cheerleader, you know, you have to, on your fasting days at least, you know, just pull through, you'll get over it. Like, to me, I think about like, if I eat this right now, it'll taste good for now, but it's gonna make me feel even worse afterwards. So just be your own cheerleader, hype yourself up on your fasting days. You are the only person that can do it. You know, you're doing this for you. At least that's what I tell myself. But I think that about covers all my things I want to say about ADF during the month of Ramadan. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I may or may not upload more videos later. I'm kind of hoping I can upload a video of what my eating days and my fasting days looks like. We'll see how this journey goes. You guys will be with me through this whole process. But hopefully, fingers crossed, when I do reach my ideal goal weight, which I will, I have to, I got this. I've lost 15 pounds so far. I'm gonna be able to lose a few more. But you guys enjoy this video and click the like and the subscribe button if you want to watch more. All right,